What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Pages from Rock Bottom. I'm Matt.
And I'm Kim, and tonight we are joined with Mr. Bryan Darst. Am I saying your name right?
Yeah.
I think I called him Durst. And Rebecca was like, I think it's Darst. I said, I think you're right.
Hey, I've definitely been called a lot worse, so it's okay.
Yeah. All right. So I just want to give everybody a heads up. Trigger warning. We're going to be talking about addiction, substance use, profanity, any more. I don't think I'm leaving anything out. Just a trigger warning. Just be gentle with yourself because there could be some things that Eric said that could trigger you. All right, Mr. Bryan, tell us who you are and where you're from.
My name is Bryan Darst. I grew up in Gallia County, Rio Grande, Ohio. I currently live in Athens County, Ohio. And February 3rd of 2016 is my sobriety date. And I like to always tell people, like, that was the day God done for me what I couldn't do for myself. And it came in the form of Athens County Sheriff's Department. So
isn't that true? Isn't that the truth?
Always
in handcuffs, you know it.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because that was the only way I could ever stop. I tried so many times on my own, like my own will, or I'm just gonna lay in this bed for like 3 days and be sick, and then that little hamster wheel starts turning, and I figure out how to make $20, and next thing you know, I'm off to the races again. So, but yeah, I grew up. I guess I'll just get into it. Tell you guys. I always tell people. I guess it's a qualifier. Yeah, I grew up in what for me as a child. Looking back, like I would consider it to be a pretty dysfunctional childhood. And if my mom's watching this, I apologize. I don't mean that as an insult, but no, it was kind of chaotic. You know, my my dad, and this is something I worked out on the 4 step, and I'll just go ahead and kind of talk about this now. My biological father, his father died at a young age, and I this is how I've learned to manage it is I don't think he ever knew how to be a father. With that being said, the relationship between him and my mom was had a lot of like violence in it. At a young age, I remember vaguely remember us being we went to Logan, Ohio, to a battered women's shelter. I was a young kid. Me and my mom lived there, and yeah, it's some of the stuff looking back at um, was kind of crazy. Um, Actually, in Logan, Ohio, when I was probably, I would say probably like 5 or 6 years old, my mom met my stepdad. His name was Randy. It's kind of funny. It was 4th of July in Logan, Ohio, and the fireworks were going off, and we went to the fireworks, and me and my mom we left and went somewhere to get something to eat. When we come back, this dude was like sitting in our seats. And it was like either me or my sister just went up to him and was like, "Hey, you're in our seats." And next thing you know, he started talking to us and then talking to my mom. Long story short, he's been my dad ever since. So yeah, amazing man, and he's got an interesting story too, which I'll talk a little bit about. But anyways, yeah, so him and my mom get together. We actually moved down back to Gallia County, where I was born in that area. That's where I was from, and I don't know. I struggled whenever I first got into school. Um, doctors said I had ADD, ADHD. I was diagnosed with a bunch of different things. But I just never felt like I quite fit in, you know, like I was always trying to look for a way to fit in, but it just didn't seem to quite happen right for me. And I tell people I had the isms, which I believe were like these behaviors that I started to use at a very young age before drugs and alcohol ever became part of the problem. But I started using these behaviors beforehand, and I kind of thought that they were like attributes to me. And later on in life, and as I go on, they became defects. So, like in school, I started acting out for attention. I was getting in a lot of trouble. Um, I was, lying, manipulating. I remember, I'm pretty sure my mom would have to verify, but I got expelled out of kindergarten.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I remember, yeah, when I was asked about it, when
Yeah.
I was asked, yes, my mom, when she asked me about it, I'm like, I didn't do nothing wrong. It was the other kid, it wasn't me. It was like somebody was
Yeah.
picking on me. No, reality was I just went over there and started thumping on somebody.
Sounds
Um,
like my daughter.
yeah, yeah. Uh,
Yeah.
so yeah, going through school, uh, like I think I was pretty like probably like fifth or sixth grade. They started putting me on some therapy and counseling and things like that. Um, and that's when they tried to diagnose me with ADD. I remember looking back at like some of my grade school pictures, like I think it was like fifth or sixth grade. They had prescribed me to Ritalin, and I
Oh,
remember,
yeah.
like, yeah, I remember like seeing the pictures of me, like I looked like a zombie, like I had welts under my eyes, like I just looked like a hot mess. But I still remember like being at the counter waiting for my mom to hand me that pill. Like I was ready for it. And it's like, what the heck? Um, but yeah, I got in a lot of trouble. I struggle with low self esteem. Um, like I said, I didn't feel a part of. And as time went on and the older I got, the consequences continued to grow. And like the lying, the cheating, the manipulating, the conning, everything. Well, I remember they sent me to a severely behavior like handicap um, class. So it was for kids with attention deficit disorder. We're just
Yeah.
going to put you over here all by yourself, this, that, and the other. Well, I'd
So we
have to
ain't
write.
got to deal with you.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
it. That's pretty much
Let's just
it.
take the problem and push it over here somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, so the problem with that is a lot of kids like in grade school you get on the bus at like 8:20 and the high schoolers would get on earlier in the day like 6:20 like in the mornings. Well, I had to go to a different school, so they started putting me on the school bus with high schoolers. So I'm like, okay. So here I am around a bunch of high schoolers and I'm starting to see, okay, well, these ones are smoking weed and these ones are doing this. And I had one time, or one of the high schoolers asked me, they were like, do they prescribe you to any medication? And I'm like, hmm. And mind you, by this time, I'm like seventh, eighth grade. And I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
like I get prescribed, Ritalin, Adderall. Oh, if you bring me some of those, you can come sit at the back of the bus with me. Okay, well, that's like, all the cool kids sit in the back of the bus. So it's
Yeah.
like, okay, don't tease me with a good time. Here I come next
Right.
day with whatever I could snag out of the bottle. But see, for me, like that registered as success for me, like in my brain. Like
Mhm.
I think I read something one time or I've heard it somewhere. It says like, so for instance, you might try to learn how to tie your shoe 20 times.
Yeah.
Uh, and then that one time you tie it right, boom, success. Like you remember that, it stores it.
Mhm.
So for me, I feel like early on, never really feeling a part of, and then all of a sudden somebody saying, "Hey, if you got that, you can be over here." To me, it's like, okay, so as long as I have that, then I have you. This
Yeah.
that camaraderie, yeah.
I found my way to fit in.
Yep,
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah. It opened the door, Now, mind you, I was still just taking stuff as prescribed and stuff like that. Um, but I remember, I think the first time I think it was probably like about eighth grade. Of course, my older brother. I got a brother and sister that are a little bit older than me. My older brother and one of his friends come over, and uh, I think they done it just so I wouldn't tell mom, but they're like, "Come on, come outside with us."
Yeah.
And they were smoking weed. Of course, I hit it. And what's crazy is I thought I was dying. Like I had ate pizza. Funny story. I had ate pizza earlier that night, right? And then they smoked with me, and I walked in the bathroom and I spit in the sink, and it was red, and I was like, "Oh my god!" Like I'm bleeding out from the inside. So my brother literally, I was going to go wake up my mom, and my brother like drug me in the bedroom. Was like, "Dude, no, like you're just freaking out. You need to chill."
Yeah.
Like, he sat on top of me
Oh
until I
shit.
calmed down. Yeah, yeah. So like that was my first experience, but then afterwards it was like awesome. Like
Yeah.
I got my older brother wanting to hang out with me, this, that, and the other, and then like I'm already starting to kind of fit in a little bit with doing these little pills here and there at school. So why not try some of them?
Mhm.
Um, and that was kind of like where shit started getting blurry. It's like, okay, I smoked weed for the first time. Um, my stepdad was going through a lot of medical problems at the time, and he was prescribed to a lot of pain medications. And it was, you're talking like morphine, Dilaudid, oxys. This is back
Yeah.
when the old oxys were a real thing. Um, and a lot of people, living out in rural Appalachia and Gallia County, like what do you do for fun? You get high. I mean,
Yeah.
like that was it. So yeah, as I started to use and sell these friends, like I started getting these friends that I had longed for the whole time, and I was starting to get attention, and like girls wanted to talk to me, and this, that, and the other. Thing about it was they didn't want to talk to me. They wanted what I had.
Yeah.
Hey Vince, happy birthday, buddy. Love you. Sorry, that's my nephew.
It's
Today's his
okay.
birthday. Um, so yeah, these people are all starting to surround me and wanting to be friends with me and stuff like that. And I don't know, like in AA, they talk about like the ominous warning that we failed to heed. Like every single one of us at some point in time, we've had these like moments where a normal person would be like, okay, like I'm done. Like this is crazy. Um, I was going to South Gallia High School down in Gallia County. It was my ninth grade year. They had let me out of the behavior class and because when you put me in a structured environment, I could conform really well. Um, they finally let me out, and I was in normal classes in high school. I was still selling Ritalin. I was still selling Adderall, and one day I was sitting in class, and it's kind of funny because like I was in the process of getting ready to like snort a pill, and I heard a dog bark, and I'm like, what? Like what, a dog? And I look out the class window, and somebody's like, dude, the sheriff's department's here. And I'm like, so I'm throwing stuff down. You remember them old register like heaters in the classrooms? Like
Yes.
the cracks? Yeah, I'm sitting right next to it. So it sounds like Plinko shit falling down in there because I'm just dumping it all. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's all going down the register. Um,
Then I brought the drug dog in.
Oh yeah,
Phew.
they brought the drug dog in. Well, me and the boy, we shared lockers. Me and the boy that shared a locker with me, he was kind of like selling stuff with me too. Like we were kind of in cahoots. And I saw the sheriff's department, the officer and the principal come to the door, and they pulled him out of class. And I was like, oh fuck, here we go. And it wasn't like literally he walked out the door, and then next thing you know, they come right back in and got me. And I mean, they had like 4 or 5 deputies there. And it's funny because they walked me into the principal's office. They set me in this little tiny room right next to the like main principal's office, and I'm sitting in there, and all these people that I was selling pills to was walking in that room, and I could hear every single thing they said, and every single one of them was telling on me. I mean, every one of them. Yeah, I was like, oh man. I was like, oh god, here we go. Bless his heart. My uncle was actually a deputy in Gallia County at this time, and he was a juvenile probation officer at this time as well. Me and him wasn't super close, but he happened to be there at the school that day, and when they walked me in to talk to the investigator and to the principal, he basically just told me not to say a word. So I sat there, shut my mouth. Yeah, they ended up expelling me, sending me back to a behavior class, which was at a vocational school, Buckeye Hills Career Center. So yeah, I got sent to alternative school for a little bit. I remember I had to go to court, but it's like I got a slap on the wrist, honestly.
Yeah.
And you know, I don't know about for you guys, but like for me back in school, I remember walking out of the cops walking me out of that school, and you know, I believe my uncle ended up taking me home in a cruiser that day. I wore that shit like a badge of honor.
Yes.
I was like, I'm the baddest motherfucker.
Like, you probably felt like a badass.
Like,
yeah.
I was like, yeah, take me out of here like Hannibal Lecter. Like,
Yes.
I just fueled the fire. But like looking
Yeah.
back, dude, normal people would have like been like, oh crap, like I can't do
Yeah.
this now. Like,
Yeah, I've been freaked the fuck out. But
yeah,
no.
it's like a monkey can't sell bananas type. you
Yeah.
know? But yeah, that wasn't the case for me. I 100%. Let's see. I think I might have to plug my computer back in. But anyways, 100% for me. I'm gonna slide this over here. I'm sorry, guys.
You're okay.
Computer might still need to be plugged in. Anyways, I 100% wore that as a badge of honor. I remember going to alternative school and like kids talking to me and stuff like that, and yeah, it just made me feel like Billy Badass, honestly. And I remember like my uncle was really just trying to look out for me, being in the position he was in. But honestly, like in my story, I believe consequence is a great motivator. And sometimes, even as family members, I think people kind of get it mixed up. Like the people you love the most, you hurt the most when you're in addiction, in my opinion. And a lot of time, family members that hasn't been through this struggle don't realize that they enable us more than anybody. Maybe if I would have been allowed to suffer the consequences that I did deserve in that instance, I'm not saying that it would have changed anything, but it'd probably been better for me in the long run. But anyways, so yeah, that was kind of like my first encounter, and I'm talking my freshman year, my first encounter with the cops. And that's, I mean, we could sit here and talk for hours about the times I've been in handcuffs. Like, I would say, and I'd have to ask old Matt Champlin to take a look at the records for Gallia County, but I would say there's probably at least 40 times I got charged with some sort of misdemeanor violation or things like that down there. Yeah, so yeah, that was freshman year of high school. Moving forward, I went to Buckeye Hills Career Center, the vocational school. And then again, I got put into like that controlled environment where when I'm under supervision all the time, I can conform really well. So I finished out my 9th grade year. my 10th grade year in this class, and they said, okay, 11th grade, we're going to let you back out. You can go back out to school, normal classes. Then again, I'm right back doing the same thing. I'm peddling with drugs. I'm doing it with anybody and everybody in the school. Probably at some point, probably got something from me, or I partied with or hung out with. Which, looking back, it's like that's all I knew at that time. I was just constantly just trying to basically feel a part of. You know, I did at that time. I got to give a shout out to a teacher that I had, Lisa. She was like the assistant in um, the SBH class that I had, and later on, and even at that time, she became like a second mom to me. Honestly, through this time, my mom and stepdad, things were really good for the most part. My stepdad had a drinking problem, and it's crazy because like in AA it talks about like sudden, like the spiritual experience. Some people have it sudden, and some people it's gradual over a period of time. And I believe the 12 steps of the NA, AA, whatever fellowship, those steps bring you that spiritual experience gradual over a period of time where it totally rearranges your outlook on drinking and using.
Yeah.
Now, it also, that book tells me that there's a sudden experience where one singular thing can rearrange your outlook on it. And God bless him, my stepdad, Randy, I remember, he drank a lot. And one night, him and my mom got into it. I was a little kid. I yelled at him. He took off that night. He come home the next morning. He never picked up a drink again. Still to this day, man's never drank. Thank him. I could spend the next hour and a half thanking him for everything he's done for me. But anyways, yeah. So high school, you work so hard to get all these friends and feel a part of, and then all of a sudden it's over.
Yeah.
And so as I'm using and my addiction's getting worse, next thing you know, school's over, and I'm laying there one day feeling like shit, not understanding what's going on with me, and I was dope sick.
Yeah.
It's it never dawned on me like the solution to my problem had now become my problem.
Yeah.
And like all the cheating and manipulating and conning and stealing and the sneaky shit that I was doing, these defects that I relied on, now I had to rely on these defects to find my next fix, And we all know as the older we get, the consequences get greater.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, I was living in Galley County. I mean, I was constantly getting ran in. I was running into cops. I tried selling weed and stuff there for a while, and it just wasn't working out because my addiction had already grown to a point to where, like, I couldn't sell enough weed to pay for the pills that I needed just to wake up in the morning. Yeah, and so yeah, as that happens, I was with a girl there in Mason, West Virginia, and my oldest daughter was born, Coraline. And yeah, I mean, I feel a lot of guilt and a lot of shame for it, but at that time, like I was in no position to be a father.
Yeah.
Pretty soon after that, I had ran into meth for the first time. And a buddy of mine needed a place to stay, and a friend of mine was out of town in an apartment building, and I was like, hey, you can stay in his place because I'm house sitting it. Next thing you know, I'm sitting in there, he's cooking meth in the back, and DA, sheriff's department. They raided that place. There was like 32 deputies there. There was
Damn.
there was there was a 60-year-old man that was sitting in the living room. I had no clue who he was when I showed up. And the guy, my buddy, was like, "Oh, don't worry about him. Ain't nothing to worry about." The next thing you know, he's on the phone. He gets off the phone, and there's fucking cops everywhere. I mean, and what does my dumbass do? This is on the main drag in Point Pleasant, West Virginia. We were in a 4-story building. The building beside of it's 1 story. I'm on the 2nd story, right, in the apartment, and there's these little tiny windows. I take a flying leap out that motherfucker, like Superman. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. As soon as they said cops, I was out. And I don't know if you guys ever sat in jail and like replayed all the moments leading up to the arrest and what you should have done different. So that haunted me for a very long time because I jumped out and I was clean and clear. I could have ran, jumped down the other side of the building, been gone. Well, the boy, my buddy, threw all of the bottles he was shaking and baking meth with out the window. And he hollered at me as I was starting to run, "Hey, toss these over the side." What do? I turn around.
Shit, yeah. Can't leave that.
Yeah. Next thing you know, there's cops like lasers pointing at me out the windows. "Don't move. Get up. Like, lay down." I'm like, okay. And I tried to tell him, I'm like, "I didn't do nothing. I don't know. This guy just threw this trash out. I was going to throw it in the dumpster." And he was like, I mean, it's funny because I walked to the back of the building and I'm talking to this deputy and I'm a story above him and they're everywhere. And I was like, "Man, I don't even know what's going on. What's the problem?" And he's like, "You know what the problem is? One of my guys seen you jump out that window." I said, "I was never in that apartment. I don't even know what you're talking about." I was like, "I climbed up here." And he's like, "Well, if you climbed up there, figure out how to climb down." Yeah. Oh, fuck. I was like, "Well, I climbed up this electric pole and there was like electric conduit down the back of the building." So sure enough, I run over, jump on the conduit, start shimmying down. They still didn't believe me. They dumped me in handcuffs. I went. I mean, I think the headline for that was "Meth on Main Street," because literally you're on Main Street in Point Pleasant, and you could literally look out the apartment building and see the sheriff's department.
Yeah.
So yeah, I ended up going to jail. I think it was Western Regional Jail, like right outside of Huntington. That place was a shithole. But as I'm sitting there waiting for my indictments, earlier on in this escapade, I was willing and dealing drugs, and somebody had ripped me off, and I had ran up on him on the street and put my hands on him, beat on him pretty bad, and there was a guy and his girlfriend, and I remember this day, like him laying there still holding her hand, and anyways, I ran his pockets, took his money, bailed out. So the reason I'm saying this is whenever I went to court for the meth lab, I had an indictment. I had a secret indictment on me for 6 months for first-degree armed robbery.
Oh, shit.
And I remember they charged me with operating a clandestine lab, manufacturing methamphetamines, conspiracy to commit a felony, and first-degree armed robbery. And I remember looking at my attorney and I'm like, what, what does that carry? And he's like, 10 to life.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, because I think the state of West Virginia is like a commonwealth. And I literally remember like feeling like my guts just fell right out. Like, my daughter at the time, like she was like right around a year, probably right around a year old. Yeah, just absolute, just, ugh, I can't even describe the feeling that I had. But anyways, yeah, I went back to jail. I sat for 16 months, and I got offered a plea bargain to plea out to operating a meth lab. Still to this day, I have no clue how to cook meth, but I got charged with a felony saying that I was operating a meth lab. So fun fact, yeah, never cooked meth and had no clue on what I was doing. But yeah, so I took the plea bargain. It was 2 to 10 years. I ended up, I was locked up, I think probably about 2 years when they accepted me for reconsideration to go to a long-term treatment facility in Huntington, West Virginia. At that time, it was the Healing Place. Now it's called Recovery Point, West Virginia. Amazing place. So yeah, I got transferred there, and I remember walking into this place, and somebody was like, "You know what AA is?" And I'm like, "AAA? Ain't that like fucking car insurance?" Like I had literally had no knowledge of recovery whatsoever. AA, anything. Hey, Tadera. But yeah, I had no clue what it was. I literally thought AA was like AAA, car insurance, get your shit towed type stuff. But it was weird because I walked into my first AA meeting, and a lot of times I say odd or God, and today I choose to say God because I walked into this meeting, and this guy's giving his lead, and it's literally somebody that had 4 or 5 years in the rooms at that time, and hey sis, love you. This guy had like 4 or 5 years at the time, and I had bought drugs from him, and I could tell, like, I knew what he was like then, and I seen him sharing his story, and like I was hearing what he was talking about, and like I was intrigued. I really was. I remember like looking around like this is all a front, like these motherfuckers are fucking with me.
Or this is
but I remember after reading, like, I was like, every one of you getting high out in the parking lot. Don't even play.
Yeah, you're all full of shit.
Yeah, like you all full of shit.
What the fuck is going on?
Because I remember, like, after he gave his lead and he was outside smoking. Hey, Travis, love you, brother. I tried to talk to this dude, and I'm like, bro, like, for real, like, what's up? What's good? He's like, no, man, like, I went through the program. I'm working steps. I got a sponsor. And I remember watching him leave that night, and he was driving this badass, like, 5.0 Mustang. And I'm like, damn. Like, that wasn't what he was driving when we were fucking kicking it. Yeah. I was like, so whatever he's doing, there might be something to that. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean, that intrigued me. And I remember like going through that program, and they called us like the big book Nazis. And I remember my first sponsor, he brought me this big book, and he said, this isn't a novel, it's a textbook. He said, don't read it from front to back and put it on the shelf. He's like, I want you to get a highlighter, I want you to get an ink pen, and he said, I want you to pick this thing apart. And then he started giving me assignments out of that book. So anyways, so that was the first book that was ever put in my hands. And man, that program was a peer-driven social module. And you know how annoying it is to have a community of brothers around you that like to call you on your bullshit?
Yes.
Oh my God. Like, them dudes were savage.
Yeah, like, every little thing, they're picking you apart.
Yes, bless their hearts. I mean, clear down to, why does it take you an hour and a half to go get ready for a meeting that's only an hour long? And I'm like, shh, you stop that.
Why didn't you make your bed right? Or you didn't make your bed this morning? Or you drink too much coffee? I remember them days.
Too many pair of shoes. I tell you what, I learned a lot through that process. I had a guy, he told me, and his name was Kendall Poole. He rest his soul. He was an amazing man. This is one guy. You ever meet somebody in recovery, and when you first meet him, you're just like, there is no way in hell me and this person's going to get along, especially when
Yes.
it's recovery. And then you
Yes.
fast forward to tape and you look back and you're like, that motherfucker taught me more than anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was this guy. I remember him. He called, his nickname for me was Last Word. And he, yeah. And he told me that I was self-will run riot. He said, your self-will run riot. And he said, you need to get some humility or get humiliated. Yeah, that was the cold piece for me right there. And at the time, I didn't understand. So part of my agreement for this treatment program is I had to complete it successfully in order not to go back to prison. Well, being a peer-driven social module, the program lasted usually 8 to 9 months, and you would 12 step out of the program and have the option to become a peer mentor in the program and work there afterwards. It took me 16 months. The peer community literally set me back, kept setting me back. But it was because all these assets that I thought I had, manipulate and con and cheat and steal, and in that process, they called me on them. I mean, there was nothing. There's nothing I could do. I had 20 other guys sitting in a room that was just like me, that could just see right through it and call me on that stuff. And in this process, like I'm absorbing all the knowledge. I'm going through and I'm trying to absorb all the knowledge. But at the time, I didn't realize I wasn't trying to get the knowledge to actually put the action in. At that time, I thought if I could learn everything about AA, NA, and spit the literature and talk the talk and put on the show, I'll be okay. Somebody told me that the longest distance to travel is from your head to your heart, because I could, and still to this day, I could set in meetings, I can recite whole pages of the big book. You name a page and I could probably read it to you word for word off the top of my head. And you all know when you first get clean, you're looking good, you're feeling good, you start going to these meetings, and there's girls in these meetings, and I've been locked up for a while, so I'm wanting to look good, I'm wanting to sound good, like I'm trying to put it all out there, I'm still wanting to feel a part of. And Kendall actually, or I think it was BJ or Kendall, I can't remember one of them. He's like, Darst, I got you figured out. And I said, yeah, well, how's that? And he's like, you go to these meetings, and he's like, you're trying to get these girls to think recovery is sexually transmitted, and you got the solution in your pants. And I was like, he said, you don't give a shit about that book. He's like, you just think the more you know about that book, the better you sound in meetings, and the more attention you're going to get. But the thing about it pissed me off because there was truth in it. I mean, it's the God honest truth. And I mean, that's a big thing early on in recovery, recovery isn't sexually transmitted. Like, obviously, somebody told me 2 sickies don't make a welly, it's hard, especially early on to try to, focus your attention on recovery. I got humiliated in the process of that program. I got sent to the Huntington City Mission for a 30-day tour. I had to live in the city mission. They actually put me on female restriction. I had to wear a sign around where I was not allowed to have any female contact. Period. Like I had to wear a sign that literally said it. But finally, I made it through that program. I 12 stepped out. I made it to the peer mentor's office, but I still wasn't working on my defects. And even as you go into the peer mentor's office, you still have a community of brothers that would hold you accountable. And those brothers would still hold me accountable. and I left on a resentment. And I had heard time and time again, you leave on a resentment, like you're going to be back. You're going to be back. So anyways, I left Huntington. And when I left Huntington and moved to Athens, I left recovery in Huntington. Another odd or God, it was obviously God moment. I get to Athens. I go stay with my sister for a while. And my first, yeah, 13 step. The first job I get, yeah, you gotta love that 13th step, right?
Yeah.
But the first job I get when I come to Athens, I'm doing maintenance and stuff. And the first guy I meet, there's this older guy, and his name was Will. Me and him sitting there talking. He's like, "Yeah, what brings you to Athens?" This, that, and the other. And as we're chatting, like I tell him, I'm like, I was in treatment. Well, come to find out, this is one of those odd or God, definitely God. Will had like 15 years in AA, went to a meeting every day. He was like, "Hey, brother, like I'm here for you." One of the first people I meet when I get around here. He's like, "You can go to meetings with me." And I'm like, "Oh, no, dude. Like, I'm good. I'm all right. Like, I'll be all right." And I was for a little while. I remember, uh, you know, when I was sitting in that treatment center, I was hearing people talking about like shooting up and things like this. And I was constantly like, "Oh, well, I never got that bad. Like, I was just snorting oxys. I wasn't shooting them." Like, yeah, I never really like smoking crack that much. I'd snort a little coke from now and then, and it's funny because somebody said, "What is it?"
I did the same thing. I used others' actions to justify my own.
Yep.
Like, I'm not that bad yet. You know what I mean?
Not yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Not yet.
That's the thing. It's like somebody told me there, he's like, it's not that you haven't done it, it's just you haven't done it yet.
Yep.
And that's literally how it was. I come to Athens, I wasn't going to meetings, I didn't have a sponsor, I wasn't putting no action in, basically dry drunk, miserable, thinking like as long as I'm working, making a few bucks, I bought a truck, put some mud tires on it, like, I caught myself starting to drink all the time. And then I remember I was out in the parking lot one day working on one of my trucks, which anybody that knows me knows I love vehicles. Like, we'll talk about that here in a little bit. But anyways, I was working in a parking lot on my truck. This old guy comes over and he's bullshitting with me. I was talking about having a headache or a toothache or something. He pulls out a bottle of pills. He's like, "Hey, you want a few of these perks?" I said, "Hell yeah." Like, he handed me a handful and I was like, "I'll be right back." I know it. Straight to the bathroom, crushing them up. Boom. It's a wrap. I had like right around 2 years clean, 2 or 3 years at that time. And I literally still to this day remember doing that and looking in the mirror in the bathroom and pretty much saying, "Here we go." Like, it's on. Like, here's what it is.
I'm back. That's what it reminds me of, because I did that too after 7 years and fell flat on my face, and it was just, that's what it reminded me of, like, I'm back.
Yep. I remember looking in that mirror just like, yeah, it's rough. Well, when this was going on, I had actually met my second daughter's mom, because whenever I got out of prison, my daughter at that time, me and her mom, she wouldn't communicate with me, and honestly, it's probably for the best. My daughter Coraline at the time, she was taking care of her. I'm in Athens. I met Kara, which, bless her heart, I put her through the fucking ringer. She got pregnant with my daughter Adeline, and right before she got pregnant, when I had relapsed and started using, and it was off to the races. Like, everything I said I hadn't done, I was doing. Like, now we're talking about doing heroin. We're shooting up. Like, I'm looking for oxys. I'm straight back to all those defects, like everything, like a click of a finger, it was there. And it's crazy how quick you go from 0 to 100.
Yeah.
I'm selling vehicles. Anyways, to fast forward this, my daughter's born, and like as much as I hate to say it, like I remember when my daughter was born, like me being at the hospital, thinking of how I was going to sneak away to go get high. Like it's horrible, but I mean, that's what it was. And so my daughter's born. I remember when she finally got to come home, I had one of those moments like where, oh, I'm going to get clean. I'm going to lay here and I'm going to get myself clean. I laid there for like 2 or 3 days sweating. Next thing you know, I was back up out. Um, I thought I got the bright idea that um, I was going to start stealing ATMs. Uh, so some things happened, and I decided one day it was a good idea to back my truck through the front of the gas station, hook to an ATM, drag it out, throw it in the bed of the truck, take off.
Mm,
Uh, yeah, yeah.
great
So
idea.
yeah. I mean, whew, yeah. And in the midst of this, like I'm going on the run, like I'm thinking every cop in the world's after me, which later on the investigator told me, he was like, no, we were looking for a vehicle from West Virginia because you had taken your front license plate off, and like in Ohio you have to have a front license plate. Anyways, so I get horrible real quick. um and I end up, when it's all said and done, I go on the run, and then when I finally get caught, that's for the ATMs. That's the February 3rd of 2016. I was in a Tomoko trailer park with Adeline, Addie's mom, Kara, um, when the sheriff's department showed up. And I remember I had ran from them so many times that they like surrounded the place. There's a lot of stuff that happened in between, like when I relapsed and then when they finally caught me for the whole ATM thing. Um, there's a lot of things that transpired in there that we just ain't got the amount of time to talk about. But anyways, um, yeah, that's the date that God done for me what I couldn't do for myself for sure. Um, I got locked up and I got forced to settle my hands for a little bit, um, which thank God I didn't end up dead. Um, I I got thrown into regional jail here in Athens, and I remember after a few days, like kind of coming to, you know how it is. First few days, you sleep it off, you wake up, you eat a few bites of food, you go back in your little pity party on your rack for a while. So yeah, I get up, get moving around, kind of get over dope sick, and it's crazy because like all that knowledge that I had gained in AA and NA like started resonating with me in my head, and that you know now I have two daughters. I just I had just literally through this whole ATM process, like my daughter was born, and instead of me taking that money that I was stealing and stuff and paying bills and keeping a roof over their head, I made them homeless. You know,
Mm,
a lot of people say like, "Oh, I lost my kids. I lost my kids." No, I made a conscious decision to choose drugs over taking care of my kids, and that's the cold hard truth.
yeah.
I it's fucked up. It is, and I make a living amends every single day that I get up to never allow that to happen again. Um, but yeah, I remember laying in that jail cell just feeling absolutely miserable because at that time you could only get video visits, and in my head I'm thinking like with the shit that I had done, like with these ATMs, that like I'm never going to be free again. Like it's a wrap. Like I'm going to be in here for a while. and that really puts a hard feeling in your stomach when you start thinking about like ever getting freedom. Anyways, as I'm in there and I start realizing, you know, no matter what, whether I get stuck in here or not, something needs to change, and that something's me. Uh, there was an old guy that come in there. He's a local here in Athens. He done AA meetings in the jail, and I started attending those meetings. And in those meetings, I heard about the Vivitrol program.
Yes.
Yeah, and I started hearing about it, and long story short, come to find out that a lot of the ATMs and the situations I was in with the gas station, they were all like I think they were F4, F5 breaking entering on non-residents. So they weren't actually as severe. I had some transfer and receiving stolen properties. I had a lot of charges, but anyways, I remember going to court, and the prosecutor's office, Meg and Keller Blackburn and Ruben and them, I got offered the Vivitrol program, and I was like, wow. I still had some charges in Gallia County because I done some shit down there too. So I ended up having to go to Gallia County and accept a plea bargain there. But yeah, um, I remember when I legitimately realized that I was going to have a second chance at freedom, like something clicked, and I was like, I am not going to take this for granted. Um, I had too much knowledge of the program, and I had seen too much of what it could do for people to deny that there wasn't something there. And I knew like I needed to do it for me, not for my daughter, not for my daughters, not for anybody but me. I remember when I finally got out of jail, like everybody like had shunned me, like it was it.
Yeah.
Um, I hitchhiked back to Athens County. Um, like I said, there's not enough hours in the day to tell my whole story in depth, but I ended up in the homeless shelter here in Athens County, uh, the Timothy House. And the prosecutor's office agreement was I had, so they let me out of jail for 30 days before I had to go to treatment in Portsmouth. So I went to the homeless shelter. Um, that was a dangerous time to let me out. But, anyways, um, I started going to meetings. You know, I found a sponsor here locally. When the opportunity come to go to Portsmouth, um, I, I headed down to Portsmouth, went through the counseling center. I met some amazing people down there. But for the first time, I got a sponsor, and like I took it serious. I always struggled with the resentment towards a higher power, towards God.
Yeah.
So somebody broke it down for me in layman's terms, like God, good orderly direction. You know, that's something you hear in the rooms. Um, but somebody told me, he said, step 1, 2, and 3. He said, I can't, he can, I think I'll let him. And I said, well, I don't like he. I said, because for me, he refers to God. And
Yeah.
he said, okay, he said, I want you to think about this. He said, take somebody in the room with any substantial amount of clean time, like a sponsor. He said, uh, I can't do this alone. My sponsor can do it, and I think I'll let him help me.
Mm.
He made me admit that whatever was on in a 12-step fellowship was a power greater than me. Because I was
Absolutely.
seeing people that lived the same life as me and went through the same struggles, having something going on in their lives that I could not explain. It was a phenomenon. So
Yeah.
at that time, that's what it took. Because it says as soon as we get just a little bit of willingness, we commence to get results. As soon as I was willing to say I can't do this alone, I think the fellowship can, and I'm actually going to participate in this and get a sponsor and do what I need to. Um, I started getting results. So with that being said, is like the fourth step, the fourth step for me is like where the steps start. The first three, if you show up at a meeting and you're fucking broke down and beat up and you're looking for help, that's the first three steps.
Yeah.
The fourth step's where the action comes into play for me.
Yeah.
When I actually started putting pen to paper and doing an inventory process, that's when it hit for me. I had to stop taking a look at everybody else and all their problems and what was wrong with the world and start working on me.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's one of the hardest things to do, isn't it? To actually just look at all your wrongdoings, everything that you've done, and you're like, man, shit, I was the problem.
Yeah. And it takes a lot out of you. But I hear people talking, oh, the fourth step, it's a motherfucker, like it's a beast. In my opinion, the fourth step was one of the most rewarding steps of the 12 steps. Like,
I think
to be able
I think the sixth is the hardest one for me.
Yeah, no, I agree. 6, 7, yep. 6, 7.
Yes,
I just caught myself on it. If my daughter's listening, she's probably doing the whole
6, 7. Yeah.
Dude, every time I turn around, she's getting me on that. I'm like, God, girl. But yeah, man, like the fourth step, the inventory process that was revealed to me in the fourth step was absolutely amazing. To honestly be able to sit down and take a look and own my part and my resentments and my selfishness and self-centeredness and kind of take a look at what was going on. And then, to share that with someone, to share all that shit with someone, it does bring about some sort of like spiritual uplift to share that stuff with someone, and then to have them sit down and give you that criticism and show you those character defects to work on. Like, that's a humbling experience in itself. So as I'm working these steps, I'm living in the homeless shelter here in Athens. I start working my steps. I build a relationship back with Kara. I get my first place to rent up here in the plains in Athens. It's a little 3-bedroom house, but I tell you what, when I got the keys to that thing, I didn't have a vehicle, I didn't have a bed, I didn't have a TV, I didn't have nothing. But I blew up an air mattress and I slept in that floor of that place.
There you go. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I was the happiest guy in the world, because for months, like, I was walking the streets homeless. Like, I was going up to the gathering place because the homeless shelter didn't open in time. I'd go to the gathering place, take a shower, go to a meeting, and then walk to the homeless shelter, stay the night, get up, go to work. That was my routine. So getting a place, that was so uplifting. I was working at the time, and I remember working with the prosecutor's office in the Vivitrol program. One of the girls that was working in there at the time had been in touch with like my counselors at the counseling center, and the counselors had told them like, hey, like, Bryan has like a vast amount of knowledge when it comes to the 12 steps and the literature and things like that. Like, we really think he should, like, they offered me a job to like come back down there and work, but I wanted to be in Athens. That's where my kid was. And one of the girls at the prosecutor's office is like, hey, this is something we really think you should, consider. So around about that time, that's when peer support became a thing. I think this was probably like right at the end of year 2. I went to work for Integrated Services, became a certified peer supporter. I was one of the first Ohio START workers, which was a collaboration between Children's Services and Behavioral Health. Basically, our goal was to keep children in the home or to reunify children with their families. And basically, I was just there to walk alongside somebody, like help them get the detox, take them to meetings, just kind of link them in with the resources in the community. And I loved that. Like, because I remember when I first come back to Athens in the homeless shelter, we didn't like I didn't know what to do, you know. Um, uh, Throughout this process, I got my driver's license back. I got a vehicle. I'm working at Integrated. Um, yeah, and me and my little girl's mom, like, I don't know if you guys have ever experienced it, but like, um, when I never really truly knew who I was, and as I grew in step work and I grew as a person, I started learning more stuff about myself. Um, and me and her mom, we ended up separating. Um, at first, it was a little bit rocky. There was a little bit of tension there. But as time went on, like I will say, like I could call my baby mama right now, and she's gonna crack up and laugh with me. We have a great co-parenting relationship. We get along really well. Um, yeah, I mean it's awesome. We'll fast forward the tape through. I I end up with Integrated for a while. Me and her separate. I got with my little boy's mom, my little boy Brentley. You guys seen on the post. Um, yeah, he was born. Um, I went to work for the Gathering Place in Athens. They decided to open up a level 2 recovery house for dual diagnosed mental health and addiction. Uh,
That's
I
awesome.
got to be, yeah, it's an awesome place. I got to be a part of like getting that up and running and started. Um, as time went on, like I think my ADD kicked in or something. We, I ended up just kind of, I feel like it was kind of like passing the torch. Um, uh, Travis shared in his story about a guy named Mike Milliken, rest his soul. He was like a brother to me, super close. He ended up taking over my position there. Um, and I actually got an opportunity to go to work for Habitat for Humanity. Um, they were trying to start a social enterprise that hadn't been tried before, and basically, they wanted to start a remodeling business to do remodel, renovation, and repair for elderly, disabled, and veterans.
Mm.
Uh, and they hired me on and basically said, "Hey, here's X amount of money. We want you to buy truck, trailer, tools, and hire a crew." And as this process went on, I was able to figure out like how I could incorporate recovery into my work with that. And we actually done a collaboration with the John W. Clem House. I'm able to employ guys, kind of like a job training opportunity. I hire guys in recovery. Uh, I've been blessed, time and time again with opportunities. But that's the thing about me is like sometimes the door opens and people are scared to walk through it. Um, I'm not like, um, and I constantly put myself in a position for those doors to open. Um, I'd like to say that the 12 step fellowship is what brought about my recovery, but I think it's a community as a whole. Um, my support is not solely in the 12 steps. I have guys out there right now, and some that might even be listening to this that are absolute guys and girls that are brothers and sisters of mine that I know I can pick up the phone and reach out to,
Yeah.
who have no affiliation with the fellowship, that is going to support me in any way that I need. Um, see, no, yeah, Thomas. Um, yeah. So I always tell people, don't keep yourself in a bubble. Don't be afraid to like share your story with people and let people know where you're from. Where I'm at today is like, so 10 years ago I was in a homeless shelter. Today I own my own home. It's paid off. I
Yes.
own I own a duplex rental a building. Uh, I love the dirt bike race. Everybody that knows me. it's funny because I remember them asking me in treatment, "What's your hobbies?" And I said, "Getting high." And they're like, "No, like, what do you like to do?" And I was like, "Get high." Um, that's like that was it. Um, Today I figured out, like, I know what hobbies are. Like, I love to hunt.
Yeah.
I love to trail ride. Like, I love to rock crawl. I love to build jeeps. I love to build fast cars. Um, and I don't do this stuff to be like flashy or impress people. I do it because that's what keeps me grounded. Like, this
Yeah.
is what I need. You know. Um, some people might be like, "Oh, he's just doing it to look like." No, like, anybody that knows me knows that I'm passionate about it and I love to do it. I'm ADD, so like I have to have a lot of toys.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, dirt
Great
bike,
coping
wood,
skills, though. You
yeah,
know?
like,
Yeah.
and like I said, like, I heard somebody share one time in a lead, and they said, you know, they didn't talk a lot about step work in their lead, and they said, if you want to know about step work, get off your ass and work them.
Hmm.
And I'm a firm believer about in that. It's like, if you want to take a look at who I was and where I used to be and where I'm at now, it is
Yeah.
100% a direct result of the 12 steps. Whether it's addiction or just you're just a person watching this that's struggling with something, I I think everybody should work the 12 steps and take a look at themselves. I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, hey, my kid's got a bus driver right now. If she's on here, you need to work the 12 steps too.
Yeah.
Poor woman. Like,
Yeah.
my little girl be getting yelled at before she even gets on the bus. Like, it's crazy. Um, but yeah, I mean, putting that pen to paper, taking an honest look at yourself, you know, the amends process for me, a lot of my amends are living amends. We make amends unless to do so or injure them or others.
Yeah.
Like, I am the other. There's some fucked up shit out there that I have done in my past that I can't just directly go back and say,
Yeah.
hey, you know.
Same.
Yeah. So, for me, my amends process is just getting up each and every day, trying to be a decent human. And I tell a lot of people, like, I'm flaky. I'm not even gonna lie. I got so many things going on. Like, sometimes it's hard to nail me down. I might I might not always be there for somebody when they want me to be, but I'm always there when they need me to be. Like,
Mm.
anybody that knows me knows, like, I might say I'm going to do something and then not do it, but if you call me and need me to do something, I'll be the first one to show up. Like,
Mm.
that's just kind of how it works for me. You know, even 10 years into this, like, I still got to keep my character defects in check. You know, you know, the selfish self-centeredness. That's really where you got to, for me, keep that balance. Um, because I'm real quick to try to make everything about me. Um,
Mm.
whether it's in my job or my friendships or yeah, she giving you them eyes, boy. Like, I see that.
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah. I
yeah,
think we all do that, though. You know what I mean? I think we all do that to an extent. Make it all about us.
yeah.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong. Like, this is a selfish program. Like,
It
you
is.
know, I have to set healthy boundaries for myself um, in order to succeed. It's like, I've done a lot of wrong things. Like, for example, is like, I got a beautiful fiance right now. She's amazing. Um, we're for the first time ever, I'm actually planning a fucking wedding. Like,
Yeah.
like it's crazy. Like, it's actually like it's going to be like legit. And
Yeah. A
I'm
real wedding.
yeah. And I remember back in the day, it's like, hell no, I ain't spending that kind of money. Let's just go to the court.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, let's just go get
Yeah.
that piece of paper. We're good. But but no, it's like it's crazy to like pay bills on time, be a mature adult, like
Yeah.
seeing my kids get off the bus every day, knowing that they have a bed to sleep in. Coraline, my youngest
Clothes,
daughter.
shoes, food,
Yeah.
all
Well,
the things.
yeah. My youngest daughter that was born at the beginning of this, like I went a lot of years with like no contact with her, and that was like something that like absolutely ate me up. And here over the past couple months, me and hers actually, started talking again. So, like that's just been overwhelming joy to be able to,
Yeah.
see basically the lady she's become. Super proud of her. Um, I hate myself for not being around, but honestly, like to see who she's become, like honestly, it's the way it was meant to be. Um, it's a hard pill to swallow, but yeah, I mean that's just the way it goes. Yeah, so today, it's keeping that balance, trying to constantly, put myself in a my Aunt Susie. Yeah. Um, I have awesome support, you know. Um, my family's been an awesome support throughout this. My mom, bless her soul, my stepdad, Randy, like I love him to death. Um, I went through a lot of hard times in this journey too. Like I remember I was about 3 years clean and I was doing everything right and everything was going good. And I actually got a message on Facebook from an attorney in West Virginia. Because whenever I come to Athens, I was still on probation in West Virginia.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I got in all that trouble over here. So 3 years clean, and I thought I was walking the line and everything was good. And I get contacted saying the state of West Virginia was doing a revocation on me and I
Holy
needed to
shit.
come back in front of the judge. And I was like, good luck getting me back there. Yeah, right. I still had
Yeah.
I had a 2 to 10 sentence, so I still had 8 years over my head.
Yeah.
But my sponsor told me, hey, just keep doing the next right thing. Was I a nervous wreck? Fuck yeah, I
Absolutely.
was.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Did I hide in a corner and cry a little bit? Yes. Like, um, uh, yeah, I was nervous, but God has continued, a power greater than myself has continued to help me throughout this journey. Um, the prosecutor's office typed me letters, other support letters through people in the community, was given to the attorney down there. They presented it to the judge. They dismissed it. They canceled everything. Um, and I mean, that's literally just a byproduct of doing the next right thing.
Yeah.
There, I just can't stress that to people. Integrity, doing the right thing when no one's watching. Like
Yep.
it's a hard one. Um, so yeah, I mean, I'm beyond blessed. Um, I know we're getting down to about
You're
20
good.
minutes here left. Yeah, can you guys think of any questions or topics? I mean, obviously, like I have my opinions on like a lot of different things in recovery. You know, like fear. I think fear is like one of the biggest paralyzers, especially early on in recovery.
Yeah.
Um, I had somebody share with me once. He said there's two types of fear: losing what you got or not getting what you want.
Yeah.
And yeah, and he said
That
a lot
is
of
so true. That's
yeah,
so true. So true.
yeah, and a lot of your decision making is based on one of those two fears. And there's healthy fear and unhealthy fear. Like
Yeah.
sometimes we got to work through those fears and push ourselves through them. So um, there's still days every day I get uncomfortable, but I just try to figure out a way to get through it.
Yeah.
um,
So what was one of the scariest things about getting sober for you?
I would say just not knowing what to expect, like the unknown. I feel like as an addict, we constantly want to be in control. I think like the big book talks about like we're constantly trying to rearrange the actors to kind of fit the puzzle how we want. We want to control everything, and we want to control it so we can see the outcome.
Yeah.
Thanks for the comment, Anthony, Ashley, everybody. All the comments have been awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
I appreciate all of you. But yeah, just the fear of the unknown, not knowing what was next. And I remember in treatment, they had us write down on a piece of paper, like in 5 years, this is where I want to be. In 10 years, this is where I want to be. And I remember like me saying like something stupid like yeah, as long as I got a car and like a little tiny apartment or something. And I look back at that paper a while back and like anything, like if you're like in your first year and you write that down, what you want, if you go the length of the 10 years, I guarantee you'll have tenfold. Because I have well abundantly surpassed any expectation I ever had for myself.
Same.
I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah. How hard has it been for you in 10 years to stay on the right path?
I mean, obviously, like temptations at every corner.
Yeah.
And like I said, like I have opinions about things, and like people can be controversial. Some of my opinions about things, but like for me, I heard a lot of talk about triggers in recovery. And for me personally, like early on, I figured out life in general is just a fucking trigger. like opening the fucking silverware drawer could be a trigger.
Yeah. Getting the straw at McDonald's or Speedway. That was a big one.
Going to the bathroom at Speedway. Like I'd be in there shaking. Like I remember the shit I done in here.
Yes.
I remember like the first time I really got the flu after I was in recovery, like it fucked me up. You know what I mean? Because in my head, I'm just sitting there racing like I know how to fix it. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Yup.
The fucking disease.
No, I totally get that. Yeah, I mean there's been difficult times through the 10 years. But for me, like early on, I kind of put it in my head as far as like triggers concerned. Like something's only a trigger if I give it that power over me.
Yes.
Like if I label something like if this happens, you know, I might react like this. So I totally erased any of that from like my mindset. Like I motocross race, I dirt bike race, and a lot of people's like, you know, a lot of injuries come. It's not if you're going to break a bone, it's when.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I remember I broke my collarbone and I was in a race at a county fair like 2 hours away. And I think this is probably like no, it would have been, it's probably like 5 or 6 years ago. I broke my collarbone and it was bad. And they put me in the stretcher, put me in the squads, getting ready to take me to the hospital. And like I said, I'm very out loud about my recovery, so I never hide it from anybody. I as soon as I got in that squad, hey, I'm a recovering addict, no narcotics, and they're looking at me like I'm a fucking retard, and they were like, "You're literally going to cuss us all the way to the hospital every bump," because like I had bone like sticking up, and so I mean that was kind of like a big fear for me, but you know I got through. You know, broken bone. Toradol is an amazing non-narcotic fucking pain reliever. I followed it up. It's crazy what ibuprofen will do for you when you're not fucking eating oxys. Like legit. Like I'd say so. Yeah, I mean that was probably that, and then one of the toughest things for me too. So my teeth was always messed up from a young age. I had to have a partial and then addiction on top of that. Like I was very self-conscious about my smile, but I absolutely hated dentists because a lot of dentists just automatically want to throw pain pills down, to you.
Yeah.
Just last year I went and got all my teeth fixed. So like that was a big thing for me. Like I can actually smile now. Like, yeah, so that was a big fear of mine that I finally overcome. So yeah, that some of those were like the hardest things. Like my dad passed away. My biological father passed away like year 4.
Yeah.
Never really got to like rekindle the relationship with him the way that I would have liked to, but he did get to see me clean, and like I got to hold his hand when he took his last breath. And and I'm still here to talk about it. I know a lot of people struggle, with death and recovery. So there's been that. I've lost I've Narcan people. I've pulled needles out of people's arms. I've uh, yeah, I mean a lot of funerals. A lot of funerals. Somebody told me, it said you can send a message in your life and in the way you walk, or you can in a coffin. It's your choice.
Yeah.
Mm.
I really want to touch on that 3-year mark, man, because I think that's really, really important. Because most of the time, especially early on in recovery, like we have it set in our minds, like, okay, I'm clean, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. Eventually, your past consequences are going to catch up with you.
Yeah.
So, how did you handle that?
Yeah. So, you hear in the rooms like the pink cloud dissipates.
Yeah.
You come down, reality, and then and in that process, a lot of people struggle because like you start to get things, you start getting the
Yeah.
girl back, and you get your car back, and you get a home back, and you start having back problems. But the problem is I think a lot of times people struggle because it starts to go to their head, and they think it's them doing that when it's actually a byproduct of the fellowship doing that. I think around that 3-year mark for me, it was very important to kind of, I would say from the beginning to 5, like I was deep in recovery. And when I say that, I'm talking like meetings, you know, sponsorship, step work. Oh, I finished the steps, I'm going to work them again.
Do them again. Do them again.
And big thing is accountability. Like having somebody in my corner, whether they're in the fellowship or out of the fellowship, that is 100% going to bust my ass. And I got to be honest with, I got to find somebody I can be rigorously honest with. So yeah, I think that 3-year mark is, in that vicinity is, having that person, your sponsor or somebody that you can be completely accountable to, and just really trying to work those steps and live those steps.
Yeah. A lot of people don't work the steps. I've worked them a couple times when I was in treatment, but I haven't worked the steps. Oh my God, it's been a while.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's been
And
a while.
it's been a while for like this go around for me too. I haven't
Yeah.
worked steps in a little while, but I will say like I still stay in touch with my sponsor. Like we talk like once or twice a week. And just because what works for me don't mean that,
It's going to work
everybody's
for someone
different.
else.
I will say like 10 years right now, like my meeting attendance ain't what it used to be. I might, once or twice a month. I probably should go more, but I know myself well enough to know when I need to get my ass to one.
There you
And
go.
I don't ignore that. If I feel myself getting irritable, restless, discontent, I
Yep.
call my sponsor, I go to a meeting, and I help someone.
Yeah.
Because this old man told me one day when I relapsed and we were talking about my relapse, he said, well, the day you relapsed, he said, did you call your sponsor? I said, no. He's like, did you go to a meeting? I said, no. He said, did you help someone? No. He's like,
There you
I was
go.
like, yeah, maybe.
Yep.
It's a good point.
So if you could tell your younger self, like when you first started, like the Adderall and stuff, when you first started, if you could tell your younger self something, what would it be? Like from today till then. What am I trying to say? How am I trying to say that?
No, like if you could,
What
if you
message you could tell yourself back then, your younger self, what would it be?
So I've kind of been asked similar questions in like other interviews and things like that, and there's kind of two sides to that question for me, because the success that I have right now is solely been based on the hell that I went through. I mean, if I didn't spend those amount of years absolutely going through hell trying to kill myself, I wouldn't be able to share the experience and strength and hope that I have. With that being said, too, it's also helped the career that I have, in a sense, working in recovery, becoming a peer supporter, things like that. I don't know, honestly, if I got that opportunity to go back and tell younger me anything, whether I'd do it or not, because honestly, I'm blessed. Like I hate to, I mean, I put a lot of people through hell, and I do feel bad for that, but I am only where I'm at today, which I absolutely love, as a result of all that bullshit.
And that's it right there. You know what I mean? That's it. I wouldn't
Yeah.
go back and tell my younger self really anything either.
Yeah, I mean,
Self want to listen anyways.
No, absolutely not. I'd be like, who the fuck are you?
Yeah, I will say, like, if I see younger guys out there, like, I see younger guys out there, like, going down the same path, like, I always try to tell them, like, don't be afraid to be you.
Yeah.
Because, that was like my big struggle, was like I always just wanted to fit in. And I'll share this real quick too, is like when I first come into the rooms, I had a very low self-esteem even coming into the 12 steps. Like if I was in a room for people and these people over here was whispering, I was thinking they were fucking talking about me.
Yeah.
In reality, they didn't even know my fucking name. But one of the things that the 12 steps should give me is the fact that I don't give a fuck anymore.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm going to be me, and if you like me, cool, let's go for a ride. We'll hit a mud hole, we'll go rock crawling. If you don't, I ain't got time for you. I am wholeheartedly, like, I love myself today, and that was the hardest person to learn how to love, was me.
What that 10 years feel like, man?
What's it feel like right now?
I'm literally going to be honest. Like, I drove around that day kind of just in awe. Like the whole day. Like I got this big camo Jeep that like I absolutely love, and it's been sitting for months because of shitty weather. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to take that thing for a ride. And I hopped in it, and I cruised uptown, and I had to drive past the homeless shelter. And like I remember walking them fucking streets. Like I remember walking to my parole office, and it's humbling, dude. Like I cried that day. Just I cried out of sheer gratitude for where I'm at in life today. Like it's sometimes it still don't make sense to me today. Like there's so many people I could go down the list that's help make this possible for me. It's amazing.
Aww. Well, we appreciate you. Like you came on last minute. I did a post and you're like, yes, you got on there. And I was like, yay. And I messaged I said, I got somebody to do it. Because we did have a cancellation, and I am just so grateful for you. You don't find many people that are like, yeah, I'll be there for somebody I don't even know just to help out. And you did that. And
Yeah.
the gratitude I have is.
I love what you guys are doing. I love you guys giving people a platform to share their stories.
Absolutely.
I know I've been tuning in, trying to listen. The last couple of Monday evenings, I think I've listened a couple of times, and like I'm always eager to support. And you guys are creating a platform to share other people's stories and other people's voices, and you never know who it might help.
Yeah,
so.
And this is kind of like our meetings, and we know that this is going to help somebody else that might not be able to make it to a meeting, and they're sitting in their living room right now struggling, but they just heard how somebody got through and they've been doing it for 10 years. So yeah. I think that's an inspiration in itself. So we're going to continue to do this, and we're going to continue to do it twice a week. And also we have March United, which is coming up. I have an event in Waverly, Ohio, and I'm going on year number 7. So we're about to start that off too, and be doing this. So, if anybody wants to get involved in that too, let me know. I have a whole committee. No.
Yeah. And if I can help you guys, I know plenty of people, that have some awesome stories and would love to get on here and be a part of this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Send them my way. A couple that might act like they're too busy, but I'll bust them out and tell them they need to come.
Yeah. Well, if anybody wants to get on here, we appreciate you. Thank you so much, though. Thank you. And if you guys really want to know what 10 years looks like, rewatch this a few times, hear his story, because listen, we've all been there. We've all struggled. We've all been in handcuffs. We've all shoved needles in our arms. I know I have. I've been an alcoholic. I've ended up drunk in alleys, and I don't even remember how I got there. Just all the things. And being able to be where I'm at today, I didn't think that I was going to, survive this long, just like you didn't think that you were, or he didn't think that he was. And guys, recovery is possible. You just got to want it bad enough, and you got to want to find yourself.
Yeah. It's not easy. You got to be willing to put in the work.
It is not. But we appreciate you. Thank you so much again. Yeah. And I will be making a shirt with your quote. We did get a quote, one of your quotes one of your sayings that you said. So we're going to put it on the shirt, and I'll post that later.
Awesome.
And because we got our own merch store, Echoes of Recovery. I always want to call it Pages from Rock Bottom, but I named it Echoes of Recovery. It's
a thing.
It's a thing. Yeah. So
it works. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but we appreciate you. Thank you so much. And even last minute, I wish I would have got to dive more into your story beforehand, so that way I could have, got to know it a little bit better. But I do appreciate you so much. Thank you.
Yeah. Yep. And I'm always here to support you guys. You guys are doing awesome.
Yeah. Thank you. All right, guys, we're out of time. But yeah, I'm going to upload your episode to YouTube. So anybody, if you want to go like and follow our page on YouTube, our podcast channel, all episodes are uploaded there. So that way, if you miss one, guess what? It's there. Go check out our merch store. And then Monday, we got Miss Ashley Cook. She is on here too. She was commenting, so proud of you and how far you have come. So we'll be joined Monday with Ashley, and we will see everybody Monday.
All right. Well,
thank you. We appreciate you. Yep. Okay, guys.
Yep.
Have a good weekend. Yep. Stay safe. Stay sober.
Yep. Bye.
Have a good one. Thanks. All right. And we are good. Oh, you did good, babe. Did good. I can't get it.